Let's take a look at invoice branding themes in this video, how we can set them up, how we can customize them, and what we can do with them. So in order to get to the branding themes, we'll need to go to our settings. So under the drop-down menu in the top left-hand corner, into settings, and then invoice settings. Now from here, you're going to be able to see those branding types that you have available. We have one for special projects. We have one as a standard template that we utilize. And then you also have the ability to customize your invoicing as well using a docx file, so a Word document file. And you can mess around with that by downloading a template, making your changes, and then re-uploading that into the system. We're not going to focus on that in this video. In this video, we're going to take a look at the standard template and see how we can customize that to fit our needs. And before we do that, let's just take a look at the details of the template itself. And it looks like that we can reorder these templates as well. So if I wanted to move special projects down here, what should happen is when you click on the templates, it's going to automatically set to standard, and then under the drop down you can select special projects, and we'll show you what that looks like in a little bit. Here are some of the details of this actual template. We have it in US letter format, we've got certain margins in here, and it looks like that's the same as the one below with special projects. I'm not going to go over all this right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at options and edit this template. So here are the things that you can customize within this invoice template. We've named the standard, so if you want to name it something else, you can name it something else. You can choose the page size that it's going to print to, margins, even the fonts of the invoice itself. Make sure to play around with these. So you're going to change the name of things like the titles, like draft invoice, the invoice itself, if you want to call it something else, and so on and so forth. On the right-hand side, if you want to keep the invoice a little bit cleaner, you can choose to show or hide certain fields. And so do we want to show the tax number? Do we want to show column headings? Do we want to show the item code, so the inventory code that we utilize to create quotes invoices, especially if you're using the inventory module in Xero? Here is where you can hide that payment advice cutaway. So at the bottom of an invoice that you send out in Xero, you'll have those kind of dotted lines or perforated lines that you can cut off and stuff in an envelope along with the check and mail back. Now, if you don't want to show that, then you just go ahead and unclick that here. And there are other things that you can show and hide. I'm not going to go through every single one of those. Logo alignment. Do you want your logo to appear in the right, the center, or the left of the actual invoice? Do you want to show taxes as exclusive or inclusive? And these are just defaults again, so you can always change this on the invoice itself. And then these are the contact details that will appear at the top of the invoice for this client or for your company. What I'd really like to customize though on these templates, and you can do so through the invoice screen as well, is to add the payment process for this specific branding theme or the specific invoice template. So let's say for the standard template, we want to offer a variety of payment options the client or the customer can use to pay us. So here we have that other payment processor that we set up recently. We have PayPal services, and then if we wanted to include, other bank payment services that we have connected to Xero, we can select that. By increasing the number of options that our customers have to pay us, they'll be more likely to pay us and more likely to pay us sooner. And I'll show you why that's important, because you can funnel your clients to pay through the different services, especially as you start to charge greater amounts. If you want to funnel them through ACH payment option, for example, because there's a cap on the fee that's charged, that may be something that you can do. And then you also have the terms and payment advice, right? So if you have any additional instructions that you want your customer to follow, this is going to show up towards the bottom of the page, and you can update those details here. So that's for invoices and statements that'll appear here. And then the terms for quotes that you send out, you'll place them here. So let's click save. And then under special projects, let's take a look at that one real quickly. I talked about the importance of selecting the right payment processors or payment methods available for these branding themes. And we only want to allow them to go through our payment process that we set up. We don't want them to be able to pay through PayPal because this payment processor that we have partnered with gives us better rates. So let's click save and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So if we were to create a new invoice, the first thing that you'll notice is that the branding theme that was at the top of those theme options will now be that standard theme. So that's automatically the one that's going to be set. If we wanted to change to special projects, we can do so by selecting them here. And then let's go through and add an invoice real quickly. I'm just going to add a inventory item and then okay, great. And now the online payment method has update. So now instead of showing both the payment processor that we set up and PayPal, when we send this invoice out to ABC Furniture, they're only going to have this one option to pay with. If we change the branding theme to standard, you'll see that this will update, right? We now have other payment processor that we've set up as well as the PayPal account that we've set up. This is why it's important to customize your invoice themes if you want to restrict the payment options that your customers have access to. That is a quick overview of branding themes. If you do have any questions about that,